Welcome back, fuckers. All right, today we're going to go through taxiing, aircraft taxiing and takeoff in the F-18C Hornet. It's pretty much the same. Nothing much has changed, really, but it's just since 2.7s came out, I figured I'd rehash on the videos, get some newer ones out. It's a little bit better quality, hopefully. More swearing, but better quality. Yeah, that's how I roll. So we're going to quickly run through your keybinds you need. So into your controls here. So you're going to need undesignate/nose wheel steering switch. You're going to need this bound. You're going to need also in your axis commands. If you've got a HOTAS, you're going to bind pitch and roll. Okay, pitch, roll. On your rudder, if you've got rudder pedals, bind your rudder pedals. Or if you've got a twist stick, make sure you bind the twist stick to your rudder. And the other thing you're going to need is wheel brakes. Left, wheel brakes right. So if you've got rudder pedals again, you can bind the toe brakes to the rudder pedals. Otherwise, you can just bind wheel brake and it'll put both on them. So if you don't have rudder pedals, you can just like bind it to a button on your joystick or something that'll apply the wheel brakes to both wheels at the same time. But if you've got the toe brakes on the rudders, definitely a lot nicer. So that's that. And we also need to bind in this one here, autopilot/nose wheel steering disengage paddle switch. Make sure that is bound as well. Okay. So that is the things you're going to need to bind for your HOTAS. Oh, one more thing, trim. Okay, trim. So nose up, nose down, left wing down, right wing down. Set that up, your trim switch, because you will need trim in the Hornet or every aircraft in DCS. You will need to trim it at some point. Once you start dropping bombs or shooting missiles, your aircraft's going to get out of balance, and yeah, it'll make it harder to fly than it needs to be. So that's it. That is your buttons. So you can see here we've got our nose wheel steering button, or our nose wheel steering is engaged. It says it on the HUD there. So to disengage it, we're going to press that paddle switch, nose wheel steering, disengage, and you can see it disappears. So now we don't have any nose wheel steering. So when I use my rudder pedals, that's only going to move my rudders. You see the rudders are moving there because I don't have nose wheel steering engaged. Now if I press nose wheel steering engage, which I've done, okay, you can see there in the cockpit, nose wheel steering engage. If I move my rudder pedals, you can see it moves the actual the nose wheel there. So I've got nose wheel steering engaged. Throttles, didn't also cover that. That's pretty straightforward, but just double check, just for the beginners. Axis commands down here into your throttles, thrust left, thrust right. So if you've got a throttle that's got independent throttles, so it's got two throttles independent of each other, you can bind the throttles, left throttle to left, right throttle to right. Or if you've just got one throttle, don't have it split, just bind it to thrust, and that'll just work both of them at the same time. Okay, up to you. That's it. Thrust, if you've got one throttle only, and then if you've got a split throttle, you can bind them separately, one to the right, one to the left. No dramas there. Also, while we're here, we're going to go back into all the takeoff and landing, or to take off, you're going to have to put your gear up. So G is the default on the keyboard. I haven't changed that at all. And then you're also going to want to bind flap switch full, flap switch auto. So auto is up, full is down. Okay, so bind those two there. Auto and full. So I've got those bound to my flap switch on the HOTAS. All right, so that is that. So we're now going to cover one more thing before we taxi out and take off. We're just going to do a quick lap. So we're going to spool up here, just bumping the throttles up a bit. And I'm just going to use my rudder pedals. You can see I can start steering the plane. So if I want to make a tighter turn, I'm going to press my nose wheel steering engage button. You can see there it says nose wheel steering high now. So I'm pressing and holding it. And what that's doing is giving me more authority. So you use this when you're taxiing around in the carrier and you've got to make tight turns, or if you get kind of stuck and you're like, oh, I'm not going to make this turn. So if we, say we're pointing right here, and we're like, if I go normal nose wheel steering, I'm not going to make it round. I'm going to go in the grass. So I can press and hold nose wheel steering high, spool her up. Once it gets going, kick it in, and you've got a lot more authority with your nose wheel steering. Just be careful as well, though. If you do jam it, you start skidding. So you can see there, nose wheel steering is full, but we're still going forward. So just be careful with that. You can actually skid the nose wheel steering, and you'll just skid straight on. So just be careful when you are using nozzle steering high, gentle with the rudder inputs. Otherwise, you will lock up the wheels, make life more difficult for you. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and line up slightly offset of the center line just for nuts, because he loves it when I don't take off on center line. And you go ahead and put our wheel brakes on. All right, so confirming that we are on the FCS page. All right, we've got our takeoff trim, which is 12 degrees up on the stabs. And just confirm again, you can press either V or click this button. Okay, so make sure you've pressed takeoff trim. So you can click it, or I'm going to press V on the keyboard now. See, it does the same thing. I'm pressing V, presses the button. And that's going to trim you to 12 degrees. So if I trim my nose down now, you can see the stabs are moving. All right, we don't want to be in that configuration. So now when I press V, which is nozzle steering, takeoff trim, it's going to put them back to 12. All right, so that's our default takeoff trim. Now, when you're carrying fuel tanks and all the rest, there's actually charts and stuff on the correct thing. I do about 3 seconds. So like 1, 2, 3. 3 seconds, nose up. I don't really have this page up at all. I just give it about 3 seconds, right? Don't get all psycho and technical on this shit. It'll be fine, okay? That is that. So when we want to take off, we're going to put our brakes on. Okay, spool it up. Going to go up to mil power. And brakes off. And then full afterburner. And what we're looking for, once we hit 80 knots, we're going to go ahead and turn off the nozzle steering with the disengage. Now we're using rudder pedals to steer or keep ourselves straight. And then we should just gently pull back on the stick here. And up we go. Gear up. And flaps up. Coming out of burner. That's our rad out. So we just passed 100 feet. And we are airborne. And that is as easy as it is to take off in the F-18 Hornet. Alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button as well. Appreciate that a bunch. And lastly but not least, I do stream on Twitch Monday to Friday at 1300 Australian Western Standard Time. So if you haven't already, links in the description below. Click on the link, give us a follow there, and then you'll get notified when I'm live next time. And you can come in and say good day, ask any questions you got about the Hornet, tell me I'm an idiot, whatever you want to do. Come on in and just hang out with everyone. Have a great time. Alrighty guys, so that is us for the day. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you fuckers on the next one. Peace.